The Great Hall of the Galactic Council stretched for nearly a kilometer. Its walls were made of crystallized starlight, a technology so old that nobody remembered which species had built it. Today, the hall was filled with representatives from 47 different species. They sat in their designated sections, some breathing oxygen, others methane, each in their own environmental bubbles. Ambassador Maria Chen stood at the center of the hall. She was a small woman, barely 5 feet tall, with gray streaks in her black hair. She wore a simple blue uniform with the Earth insignia on her shoulder. Around her, the aliens were talking among themselves. Some were laughing. Nobody was paying attention to her. Director Vothral sat on the highest platform. He was from the Zillion species, looking like a massive praying mantis made of bronze metal. His compound eyes glittered as he looked down at the human ambassador. Next to him sat other high-ranking council members. There was Administrator Quelm, a floating jellyfish-like creature in a tank of purple liquid. There was General Krath from the Catharn Empire, a reptilian species known for their military strength. There was Trade Minister Polvix, who looked like a walking tree with too many branches. Vothral clicked his mandibles together, making a sound that the translators turned into laughter. Ambassador Chen, we have received your requests for this emergency session. The council is very busy, but we have decided to hear you. Please be brief. Maria Chen looked around the hall. She had been humanity's representative to the council for 15 years. 15 long years of being ignored, dismissed, and laughed at. She had submitted hundreds of reports about unfair trade practices. She had documented how council corporations were strip mining Earth's resources. She had shown evidence of how human colonies were being charged 10 times more for basic supplies than other species. Every single report had been filed away and forgotten. Thank you, Director, Maria said. Her voice was calm and steady. I will be very brief. I am here to deliver a message from the United Nations of Earth and all human colonies. Another complaint about trade tariffs? Polvix interrupted. His voice sounded like wind through leaves. Perhaps you should simply work harder. Humans are newcomers to galactic society. You must earn your place. Several council members made sounds of agreement. The Catharn general actually yawned, showing rows of sharp teeth. Maria smiled. It was not a happy smile. No, Minister Polvix. This is not a complaint. This is a notification. Effective immediately. Humanity is withdrawing from all council activities. All human embassies will close within 72 hours. All trade agreements are terminated. All diplomatic channels are being severed. The hall went quiet. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Vothral laughed again. Ambassador Chen, please. These dramatic gestures are beneath you. If you are unhappy with certain trade terms, we can schedule a review committee. In perhaps 6 or 7 months. You misunderstand me, Director, Maria said. Her voice was harder now. This is not a negotiation. This is not a threat. This is a statement of fact. Humanity is done with the Galactic Council. Administrator Quelm pulsed a bright orange color, which meant confusion in his species. But you need us. Your economy depends on council trade. Your colonies need supplies that only we can provide. You are being emotional, Ambassador. Very human of you. Maria had heard that phrase too many times. Very human of you. It was how the council dismissed everything humans said. Emotional, irrational, too young to understand galactic politics. We have been patient, Maria said. For 30 years since first contact, we have been patient. We followed your rules. We paid your unfair tariffs. We sold you our resources for prices you decided. We asked politely for fair treatment. We filed proper complaints through proper channels. We waited for the council to honor its own laws about protecting developing species. She paused and looked directly at Vothral. You did nothing. Every time we asked for help, you did nothing. Every time we showed evidence of abuse, you did nothing. You thought our patience meant we were weak. You thought our politeness meant we had no choice. General Krath stood up from his seat. He was nearly 8 feet tall, covered in dark green scales. Watch your tone, human. You speak as if you have power here. The Catharn Empire alone has more warships than your entire species has spacecraft. You are nothing. Exactly, Maria said softly. We are nothing to you. We have always been nothing to you. That is why we are leaving. This is ridiculous, Trade Minister Polvix said. You cannot simply leave the council. There are treaties. There are contracts. You will face sanctions. You will face blockades. Perhaps even military action. Maria reached into her pocket and pulled out a small data crystal. She placed it on the podium in front of her. This contains copies of every treaty, every contract, every agreement between humanity and the Council. You will find that we have broken none of them. Every treaty has a withdrawal clause. We are invoking those clauses. As for blockades and military action, I remind the Council that such actions against a sovereign species are illegal under your own laws. Vothral leaned forward. You are making a mistake, Ambassador. Without Council protection, humanity is vulnerable. There are many hostile species in the galaxy. Pirates, raiders, empires that do not follow Council law. Who will protect Earth? We will protect ourselves, Maria said. We have always protected ourselves. We did not ask you to protect us. We asked you to treat us fairly. You refused. Then go, General Krath shouted. Run back to your little blue planet. When you come crawling back begging for trade, we will remember this insult. Maria picked up her data crystal. She looked one last time at the Council members. Some looked angry. Some looked confused. Vothral looked amused, as if this was all a game that the humans would lose. We will not be coming back, Maria said quietly. You had 30 years to change. You had hundreds of opportunities to do the right thing. You chose to exploit us instead. You chose to see us as inferior. You chose to ignore us. She started walking toward the exit. Her footsteps echoed in the silent hall. Ambassador Chen, Vothral called out. His voice had lost its amused tone. Surely we can discuss this. Perhaps we were too hasty in dismissing some of your concerns. We could form a committee to review— No, Maria said without turning around. We are done with committees. We are done with reviews. We are done with waiting for you to decide we deserve basic respect. She reached the massive doors of the Council hall. They opened automatically for her. Before she stepped through, she turned back one final time. You mistook our patience for weakness, she said. Her voice carried clearly through the hall. You mistook our politeness for fear. You mistook our restraint for inability. That was your mistake. Goodbye, Galactic Council. We will not meet again. The doors closed behind her. In the hall, the Council members sat in silence. Then everyone started talking at once. Vothral tried to call for order, but nobody listened. Trade Minister Polvix was already calculating the economic impact. General Krath was demanding permission to send warships to Earth to enforce compliance. Administrator Quelm was flashing colors of distress. But in a corner of the hall, a young researcher named Silth from the Kixian species was very quiet. Silth had studied human history as a hobby. Silth knew things that the Council had never bothered to learn, and Silth was terrified. 3 months had passed since Ambassador Chen had walked out of the Council hall. Director Vothral had expected the humans to return within weeks. He had been so sure of it that he had not even bothered to send anyone after her. Now he sat in his private office, looking at reports that made no sense. Every human embassy in Council space had closed exactly on schedule. Every human trade ship had departed. Every human diplomat, merchant, tourist, and worker had gone home. The borders of human space were now marked by automated warning beacons that repeated the same message in every known language. This is the border of human territory. Turn back, you are not welcome. Any vessel crossing this border will be considered hostile. Force will be met with force. At first, nobody had taken the warning seriously. The Terran Curtain, as people were calling it, seemed like a joke. Humans were a minor species. They had only 53 colony worlds. Their military fleet was small. What could they possibly do? Vothral touched a control on his desk. A hologram appeared showing the current state of Council trade routes. Nearly a quarter of them were marked in red. Those routes had gone through human space. Now they required long detours that added weeks to journey times. Shipping costs had increased by 30%, but that was not the worst problem. His door chimed. Enter, Vothral said. Administrator Quelm floated in, his tank carried by an anti-gravity platform. His normally blue coloration had turned a sickly green. Director, I have the latest economic reports. They are not good. Vothral gestured at a chair, though Quelm did not need one. Tell me. The medical crisis is getting worse, Quelm said. Human pharmaceutical companies supplied 60% of the Council's advanced medicines. We thought we could simply get those medicines from other sources, but no other species can manufacture them. The chemical processes humans developed are unique. We do not understand how they work. What about the factories that humans built on Council worlds? Vothral asked. Abandoned. Stripped. The humans took every piece of equipment when they left. They even deleted all the computer systems. It is as if they were never there. Quelm pulsed a dark orange. Director, people are dying. The Flaxian plague that was cured 20 years ago, it is coming back. Without human medicines, we cannot stop it. Votheral felt a cold sensation in his thorax. What else? Agricultural products. Humans exported food to 41 different species. Some of those species cannot eat anything else. The Vorniks are facing starvation. The Kellians are rioting because they cannot get coffee. Do you know what coffee is, Director? It is a human drink. Just a drink! And 3 different species are ready to go to war because their populations are addicted to it and cannot get more. Surely we have other problems than drinks, Votheral said. Quelm made a sound like bubbling water, which was his species' version of bitter laughter. Oh yes, much worse. Our entertainment industry has collapsed. 70% of the galaxy's music, movies, books, and games came from humans. Do you know why? Because humans create stories about everything. They have millions of years of evolution that made them crave stories. Other species make entertainment, but human entertainment is addictive. The whole galaxy is experiencing withdrawal. A message appeared on Vothral's desk. It was marked urgent. He opened it and felt his mandibles click involuntarily. What is it? Quelm asked. A merchant vessel. The Star of Praxis. It ignored the warnings and crossed into human space 3 days ago. Votheral looked up. It has vanished. No distress signal, no debris. The last transmission was the automated border warning. Then nothing. Perhaps they had engine trouble, Quelm suggested. Perhaps. Votheral did not believe it. Send a search and rescue mission. The search and rescue mission found nothing. The Star of Praxis had ceased to exist. There was not even a trace of ionized particles where the ship should have been. The news spread quickly through council space. Now nobody was laughing about the humans anymore. Now they were nervous. Trade Minister Polvix called an emergency economic summit. Nearly every species sent representatives. The message was clear: the council's economy was in trouble. The removal of human trade was like removing a load-bearing wall from a building. Everything was starting to collapse. We must bring them back, Polvix said. His branches were drooping. We must negotiate. We must offer them better terms. We tried, another minister said. We sent 3 separate diplomatic missions to the edge of human space. The automated systems would not let them through. The messages we sent received no reply. It is as if there is nobody home. General Krath stood up. He had been quiet during the whole meeting, which was unusual. I have worse news, he said. My intelligence service has been monitoring human space. We had operatives in human colonies. We had spies in their government. We had listening posts near their borders. And, Votheral asked, they are all silent. Every single operative. Every single spy. Every listening post. All of them went dark exactly 72 hours after Ambassador Chen left. It is not possible. We had agents deep undercover. Some of them had lived as humans for years. They would not all fail at the same time. What are you saying? Polvix asked. I am saying that the humans found them all. Every single one. In 3 days. And they did something to them. Krath's scales had turned a darker green, a sign of fear in his species. My best intelligence officers cannot explain it. It should be impossible. Votheral felt that cold sensation again. What about your long-range sensors? What do they show? Nothing. The Terran curtain is more than just a border. It is some kind of sensor screen. We cannot see through it. We do not know what the humans are doing in there. That is also impossible, Quelm said. Sensor dampening on that scale would require technology far beyond what humans possessed 3 months ago. I know, Krath said quietly. The room fell silent. Everyone was thinking the same thing, but nobody wanted to say it out loud. Finally, a small voice spoke up. It was Sylth, the young Kixian researcher who had attended the council session 3 months ago. Sylth had been invited to this meeting as a junior analyst. Perhaps we should consider the possibility that we never really knew what technology humans possessed. Everyone looked at Sylth. The young researcher shrank back, but continued. I have been studying human history. They have a pattern. They hide their true capabilities until they need them. They call it strategic ambiguity. During their own wars, they would often let enemies think they were weak, and then reveal hidden weapons at crucial moments. They were fighting each other, Krath said dismissively. That is different from facing the Galactic Council. Is it? Sylth asked. Humans have nearly destroyed themselves 4 times in their history. Each time they came back stronger. They survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and environmental collapse. They are the only known species to have developed nuclear weapons before spaceflight and not destroyed themselves. What is your point? Fothral asked. My point is that we treated them as a minor species because that is what they wanted us to think. We thought they needed our protection. We thought they needed our trade. But what if we needed them more than they needed us? Ridiculous, Polvik said. They are one species with 53 worlds. The Council has 47 species with over 10,000 worlds. Then why are we having this emergency meeting? Sylth asked quietly. Nobody had an answer to that. Fothral stood up. Enough speculation. General Krath, I want you to organize a reconnaissance mission, not an invasion, not even a small incursion, just reconnaissance. Send a fleet to the edge of human space and observe. Use your best sensors. Find out what they are doing behind that curtain. And if they attack? Krath asked. They will not attack. You will not cross the border. You will just observe. Fothral clicked his mandibles in what he hoped was a confident gesture. They are angry. I understand that. But they are not stupid. They will not fire on Council ships that are simply observing from their own territory. Sylth wanted to say something but stayed quiet. The young researcher had a very bad feeling about this plan. But nobody asked junior analysts for their opinions. General Krath nodded. I will assemble a fleet. 47 vessels. Enough to defend themselves if needed, but not enough to be considered an invasion force. Good, Fothral said. Find out what the humans are hiding. Then we will know how to proceed. The meeting ended. Everyone filed out. Only Sylth remained, looking at the star maps on the wall. Human space was marked in gray. It looked so small. But Sylth kept remembering something from human history. There was an old Earth saying, beware the fury of a patient man. The humans had been patient for 30 years. What happened when patience ran out? Admiral Drekkor commanded the reconnaissance fleet from his flagship, the Pride of Catharn. He was a veteran of 40 battles and had never lost a single engagement. His dark scales bore the scars of combat, marks of honor among his people. He looked at the view screen showing the edge of human space and felt nothing but contempt. 47 ships, a massive reconnaissance fleet, all of this to observe one minor species that had its feelings hurt. It was embarrassing. The Catharn Empire could have conquered human space with 1/10 of this force, but the Council wanted caution. They wanted reconnaissance, so reconnaissance is what they would get. Admiral, we are approaching the Terran border, his tactical officer reported. All ships are in formation. Good. Hold position at exactly 1 light second from their border. Deploy long-range sensors. I want to know everything about what they are doing in there. The fleet slowed and stopped. They were in Council space, well within their rights to be here. The humans could not possibly object to ships staying on their own side of the border. The sensor officer worked at her station for several minutes. Then she looked up, her scales pale with confusion. Admiral, the sensors cannot penetrate the boundary. There is some kind of interference. I am not reading any ships, any planets, anything. It is as if space itself ends at their border. That is impossible, Drekkor said. Adjust the sensors. Use active scanning. I am using active scanning. It is not working. The returns are strange. Sir, with your permission, I would like to request... An alarm interrupted her. Red lights flashed across the bridge. Admiral! The weapons officer shouted. I am detecting objects. Hundreds of objects. They are surrounding us. They were not there a moment ago. Impossible. Show me. The view screen changed. Drekkor felt his blood run cold. The space around them was filled with structures. Massive defense stations, each bristling with weapons. Platforms that had no business existing. Satellites of unknown purpose. And all of it had appeared from nowhere. Or rather, it had been there all along. They just had not been able to see it until they were already surrounded. How did they build all this? His tactical officer whispered. 3 months ago, there was nothing here. We have sensor logs. This space was empty. They must have been cloaked, Drekkor said, but he did not believe it. Cloaking technology could hide a few ships, not hundreds of massive structures. The power requirements alone would be detectable. Admiral receiving a message. Audio only. It is human. Play it. A male voice came through the speakers. It was calm and emotionless. Council vessels, you are at the border of human territory. Turn back now. This is your only warning, Drekkor laughed. Only warning. We are 47 ships. We are on our side of the border. They dare threaten us? Sir, perhaps we should... His tactical officer began. No. We will not be intimidated by automated messages. We are here to observe. We have every right to be here. Drekakor leaned forward in his command chair. Maintain position. Continue scanning. I want to know what they are hiding. For 10 minutes, nothing happened. The fleet stayed in position. The sensors gathered what little data they could. The defensive structures did not move or react. Then Drekakor made his decision. Tactical, select 3 destroyers. Have them cross the border. Just 1 kilometer. A minor incursion. If the humans want to complain, let them file a diplomatic protest. Oh wait, they cannot because they severed all diplomatic relations. His bridge crew laughed at the joke. But the laughter was nervous. Sir, this is not wise, his tactical officer said. We were ordered to observe only, and we are observing. We are observing what happens when we cross their border. Those are my orders. Execute them. 3 Catharn destroyers broke formation. They were powerful ships, each capable of destroying a planet's orbital defenses. They advanced slowly toward the human border, their shields at maximum, their weapons charged and ready. They crossed the invisible line. For exactly 2 seconds, nothing happened. Then space itself seemed to change. The first destroyer simply exploded. There was no warning. No weapon fire visible. No missile trails. One moment the ship was there, intact and powerful. The next moment it was an expanding cloud of superheated plasma. The second destroyer managed to turn. Its shields flared as something hit them. Something moving at a significant fraction of light speed. The shields held for almost a full second before they collapsed. The destroyer was torn apart by kinetic impacts so powerful that the debris was vaporized on contact. The third destroyer's captain was fast. He reversed engines immediately, trying to retreat back across the border. He almost made it. He was less than 100 meters from safety when autonomous drones appeared around his ship. They were small, each no bigger than a fighter craft. But there were hundreds of them and they moved with impossible precision. They cut the destroyer apart. Not with explosions, with directed energy beams that sliced through armor like it was paper. In 15 seconds, the ship was in pieces. The life pods that ejected were carefully captured by the drones and pulled back across the border into human space. The entire engagement had lasted 23 seconds. 3 destroyers gone, billions of credits worth of military hardware destroyed, nearly 2,000 Catharn warriors dead or captured. The bridge of the Pride of Catharn was completely silent. Every eye was on the view screen, watching the debris field that was still glowing from the heat of vaporization. All ships, Drekakor said. His voice was steady, but his scales had gone pale. Retreat. Full speed now. The fleet turned and fled. Not withdrew. Not retreated in good order. Fled. 44 remaining ships running from an enemy that had not even shown itself. An enemy that had killed with such speed and precision that it seemed like magic. Another message came through. The same calm male voice. Second warning. There will not be a third. The fleet did not slow down until they were 3 light years from the human border. Only then did Drekakor allow himself to access the sensor logs from the battle. If it could even be called a battle. It was more like an execution. His science officer had the data ready. She had been analyzing it during their retreat. Admiral, I have the preliminary analysis. Tell me. Drekakor's voice was hard. The first destroyer was hit by what we believe was a relativistic kill vehicle. A projectile accelerated to 0.9 light speed. At that velocity, even a small mass carries enough kinetic energy to destroy a capital ship. We never saw it coming because at those speeds, the projectile arrives before the light reflecting off it does. And the second destroyer? Similar. Multiple smaller projectiles, possibly launched from the defensive platforms. Admiral, this technology should not exist. Accelerating mass to relativistic speeds requires enormous energy. The humans would need power generation capabilities far beyond anything we have ever seen. The third destroyer? Autonomous combat drones, AI-controlled. They operated with perfect coordination. No communication lag. No hesitation. They identified weak points in the destroyer's armor and targeted them with precision. The energy weapons they used are also unknown. They cut through our best armor without any apparent effort. Drekakor looked at the data. He had spent his entire life studying warfare. He knew weapons. He knew tactics. He knew power. And he knew that what he was seeing should be impossible. How long would it take to build defenses like that? He asked of those platforms, those drones, those weapons. Admiral, based on what we saw, I would estimate minimum 5 years, possibly 10. That is assuming they had the technology ready and just needed to deploy it. If they had to develop the technology, add another decade. They did it in 3 months. Yes, sir. They did it in 3 months. Drekakor stood up from his command chair. He walked to the view screen and stared at the stars. Somewhere behind them, the Terran curtain hid humanity, hiding what they had built, hiding what they could do. They were always capable of this, he said quietly. All those years, all those treaties, all those trade agreements, they could have done this at any time. Sir? His tactical officer asked. They were holding back. They handicapped themselves. They let us think they were weak. They let us exploit them. They let us laugh at them. Drekakor turned to face his crew. And we never asked why. We never wondered why a species that could develop faster than light travel would tolerate being treated as inferior. We just assumed we were better than them. What do we do now, Admiral? The weapons officer asked. Now? Now we go back to the Council and tell them the truth. We tell them that humanity is not the minor species we thought they were. We tell them that those defense platforms are just the beginning. We tell them that we attacked and we lost and humanity barely noticed. He sat back down in his chair. And we pray that they never decide to show us what else they have been hiding. The Pride of Catharn and its 43 remaining sister ships limped back to Council space. Behind them at the border, the human defensive platforms remained silent and watchful. Inside human space, in a command center on Earth, Fleet Admiral Sarah Okonkwo watched the Catharn fleet retreat. She sat in a chair that had been designed for comfort during long watches. Around her, holographic displays showed the entire border region. Ma'am, the Catharn fleet has withdrawn, a young officer reported. Shall we stand down? The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives from 47 species were all shouting at once. Some demanded war. Some demanded negotiation. Some demanded answers. Director Vothral had given up trying to maintain order. He simply sat on his high platform and watched his carefully maintained political structure fall apart. It had been 9 months since humanity withdrew. 9 months of economic collapse, medical crises, and growing panic. The reconnaissance disaster had been 3 months ago, and the news had spread to every corner of Council space. 3 destroyers destroyed in 23 seconds, an entire fleet forced to retreat. And worst of all, humanity had not even used their real military, just automated defenses. The Catharn Empire was humiliated. General Krath had been recalled in disgrace. Admiral Drekor had been demoted. But that had not solved anything. If the mighty Catharn military could not even observe human space without losing ships, what chance did anyone else have? This is your fault, Trade Minister Polvix shouted at Vothral. His branches were turning brown, a sign of extreme stress. You dismissed the human complaints. You told us they were insignificant. You said they needed us more than we needed them. We all agreed with those assessments, Vothral said coldly. Do not pretend you were innocent in this. The Flaxian plague has killed 3 billion people, Administrator Quelm said. His color was almost white now. 3 billion? Because we do not have human medicine. My entire species is at risk. We need those medicines. We need to restore trade. We need to fix this. How? Another representative asked. They will not talk to us. They will not trade with us. They will not even let us near their borders. Then we force them, a new voice said. Everyone turned. The speaker was Supreme General Thraknor of the Catharn Empire. He had come personally to the council, which was rare. The Catharn military usually stayed out of politics. Thraknor was old, his scales nearly black with age, covered in scars from 100 battles. He was the most respected military leader in council space. Force? Vothral asked. General, with respect, your own fleet was just testing their defenses with 3 ships, Thraknor interrupted. I am not talking about another reconnaissance mission. I am talking about a full military response. I am talking about 10,000 ships. I am talking about the full might of the Catharn Empire, supported by council forces. I'm talking about ending this farce. The chamber went silent. 10,000 ships. It was the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history. Such a force could conquer entire sectors. No single species had ever faced such overwhelming power. You would invade human space? Quelm asked quietly. I would remind humanity of their place, Thraknor said. They are one species, 53 worlds. We are 47 species, over 10,000 worlds. They have made their point. They have shown they have better weapons than we thought. Fine, but weapons are not enough. Numbers matter. Production capacity matters. They cannot stand against the full council. This is madness, a voice said from the back of the chamber. Everyone turned again. It was Silth, the young Kixian researcher, the same one who had warned them before. Silth looked terrified but determined. Who gave you permission to speak? Fothral demanded. Nobody, Director. I apologize, but I must speak. I have been researching human history and culture for 9 months. I have read everything available. I have analyzed their psychology, their warfare patterns, their technological development, and I'm telling you this invasion will be a disaster. A junior researcher, Thraknor said with contempt. You know nothing of war. I know what humans call war, Silth said. The young researcher pulled up a holographic display. Humans have been at war for 98% of their recorded history. They have fought each other in millions of conflicts. They have developed thousands of different ways to kill. They have created weapons so terrible that they signed treaties to never use them again, and they did all of this before they even left their own planet. Images appeared in the hologram. Ancient human battles, medieval sieges, world wars, nuclear explosions, chemical weapons, biological agents. The council representatives who had never bothered to learn human history stared in shock. They are a death world species, Silth continued. Do you know what that means? Earth has higher gravity than most of our worlds. It has more dangerous predators, more deadly diseases, more natural disasters, and humans survived all of it. They did not just survive, they became the dominant species. They eliminated every competitor. They are apex predators who learn to cooperate with each other. So what? Thraknor said. They are good at killing each other. That does not make them a match for the council. You are not listening, Silth said desperately. They are persistence predators. That is their evolutionary hunting strategy. They do not give up. They do not stop. They track their prey for days, weeks, months until it collapses from exhaustion, and then they kill it. Silth brought up more data. I found something in the council archives. 20 years ago, when humans first joined the council, a xenoanthropology team studied them. They wrote a report. It was filed away and ignored. Do you want to know what it said? Nobody answered, but Silth continued anyway. It said that humans are the most dangerous species in known space, not because of their technology, not because of their weapons, but because of their psychology. They form bonds stronger than any other species. They have concepts like honor, revenge, and justice that they value more than their own lives. They have something they call determination. The report recommended that the council treat humanity with extreme caution and respect. Where is this report? Fothral demanded. In your own archive system, filed under non-urgent cultural studies. Nobody ever read it. Nobody thought it was important. Quelm pulled up the report on his own display. He read it for a moment, his color shifting through various shades of distress. This report recommended we never antagonize humans. It said that human retaliation follows a pattern called escalation. They respond to aggression with greater aggression. It suggested that humans, if pushed too far, would become an existential threat to the council. Ridiculous, Thraknor said. One species cannot threaten the entire council. Can they not? Silth asked. In 9 months, they have built defenses that our best fleet could not penetrate. In 9 months, they have developed weapons we have never seen before. In 9 months, they have gone from a minor species to something that terrifies us. General, what do you think they have been building for 9 months besides border defenses? Thraknor said nothing. Let me tell you what I think, Silth said. I think the defenses were already built. I think the weapons were already developed. I think they have been preparing for this moment for years, maybe decades. They were always capable of what we saw at the border. They just never showed us. Why? Pulvix asked. Why would they hide such capability? Because they wanted peace, Silth said simply. They did not want to be feared. They did not want to be seen as a threat, so they made themselves appear weak. They traded with us. They followed our rules. They asked politely for fair treatment. They gave us every chance to do the right thing. The young researcher looked directly at Thraknor. And we failed. We exploited them. We dismissed them. We laughed at them. For 30 years, we proved that we would not treat them with respect unless they forced us to, so they withdrew. They gave us one last chance to change, to prove that we were worth dealing with. And we sent a fleet to spy on them, Quelm said quietly. Yes, and they destroyed 3 ships in seconds. Not because they wanted to, because they had to show us they were serious. And what did we learn from that? Nothing. Instead, we are planning to send 10,000 ships. Sylph's voice was shaking now. Do you not see? We are proving them right. We are proving that the only language we understand is force. I have heard enough, Thraknor said. This is emotion, not logic. Yes, humans are dangerous. Every species is dangerous. But they are outnumbered. They are isolated. And they are facing the full might of the Council. No species has ever survived such an assault. No species has ever been humanity, Sylph said. Then they will be the first to fall, Thraknor said. He turned to Vothral. Director, I am formally requesting Council authorization for military action. The Catharan Empire is prepared to lead a coalition fleet. We will enter human space, eliminate their defensive platforms, and bring them to negotiations. We will make them understand that their isolation ends now. Vothral looked around the chamber. He saw fear on every face. But he also saw anger, pride, humiliation. The Council had been embarrassed by a minor species. Their authority had been challenged. Their power had been questioned. And power once questioned must be proven. The Council will vote, Vothral said. The vote was not even close. 39 species voted for military action. Only 8 voted against. The motion passed. It is decided, Vothral announced. The Galactic Council authorizes military action to restore diplomatic relations with humanity. General Thraknor, you have full command authority. Assemble your fleet. Show the galaxy that the Council's authority cannot be challenged. Thraknor bowed. It will be done. As the chamber emptied, Sylph remained seated. The young researcher looked at the data displays, at the images of human history. Supreme General Thraknor stood on the command deck of his flagship, the Eternal Victory. Around him, in perfect formation, floated 10,000 warships. It was the largest fleet ever assembled. Ships from the Catharan Empire formed the core, but there were also vessels from 20 other species. Cruisers, battleships, carriers, dreadnoughts. Enough firepower to sterilize 100 worlds. It had taken 3 months to gather this fleet. 3 more months for humanity to prepare. But Thraknor was not worried. No amount of preparation could stand against this kind of force. The border defenses that had destroyed 3 destroyers would be overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Once they broke through, human space would fall in weeks. All ships report ready, Supreme General, his tactical officer said. Good. Begin the advance. Standard invasion formation. All shields to maximum. All weapons charged. When we cross the border, I want every sensor active. I want to know what we are facing. The fleet moved forward. It was an impressive sight. 10,000 ships advancing in perfect coordination. The pride of the Council. The strength that kept order in the galaxy. They reached the border. The same automated warnings began broadcasting. Turn back, you are not welcome. Force will be met with force. Thraknor smiled. Cross the border. All ships engage any resistance. 10,000 ships crossed into human space. For a moment, nothing happened. Sensors detected the defensive platforms they had seen before. The automated drones. The weapon systems. Exactly what they expected, then everything changed. Space itself seemed to tear open. Behind the Council fleet, cutting off their retreat, massive gates appeared. Not wormholes. Not jump points. Something new. Something the Council had never seen. Through these gates came ships. Human ships. But not the small patrol craft and light frigates the Council knew about. These were warships. Real warships. Dreadnoughts 5 times larger than anything the Council had built. Carriers that launched thousands of fighters. Cruisers covered in weapons that did not appear in any human catalog. How many? Thraknor demanded. His sensor officer stared at her screens. Counting now, sir. 1,000. 2,000. 3,000. They are still coming through the gates. Supreme General, I count 15,000 human warships, and they are surrounding us. 15,000. Impossible. The Council intelligence had reported that humanity had fewer than 500 military vessels. Where had these ships come from? They must have been building them, his tactical officer said. In secret. For years. No, Thraknor said slowly. He understood now. They always had them. They just never showed us. All those years of trade and diplomacy, they had a fleet that could match the Council. They just kept it hidden. A communication came through. This time it was not an automated message. It was a human face on the screen. An older woman with gray hair and cold eyes. She wore a military uniform with insignia that marked her as a fleet admiral. This is Fleet Admiral Sarah Okonkwo of the United Nations Space Command. You have violated human territorial sovereignty with an invasion force. You have ignored multiple warnings. You have chosen war. So be it. This is Supreme General Thraknor of the Catharn Empire. We are here to restore diplomatic relations. You do not seek war? Okonkwo interrupted. You brought 10,000 warships. You crossed our border in a military formation. You charged your weapons. What else would you call it? We were prepared for your border defenses. You were prepared for the toys we put at the border, Okonkwo said. You were not prepared for this. General, I am going to give you one chance. One chance only. Order your fleet to power down all weapons. Lower your shields and prepare to be escorted to a detention area. Do this now and most of your people will survive. Thraknor felt anger surge through him. Surrender? To humans? Admiral, you are outnumbered. We have 10,000 ships and we have 15,000. We have better weapons. We have better shields. We have better tactics. Okonkwo leaned forward. But most importantly, General, we have been preparing for this moment for 30 years. Every time you dismissed us, we built another ship. Every time you laughed at us, we developed a new weapon. Every time you exploited us, we became stronger. You taught us that the galaxy respects only force, so we became a force that even you cannot ignore. You cannot defeat the entire Council, Thraknor said. We do not want to defeat the Council. We want the Council to change. We want fair treatment. We want respect. We want the same rights you give to every other species. Okonkwo's voice was hard. But if you force us to fight, we will show you exactly how dangerous humans can be. This is your last chance. Surrender or face the consequences. Thraknor looked at his tactical displays. 15,000 human ships, all of them larger and more advanced than intelligence had reported. All of them in perfect position to attack his fleet from every angle. He had walked into a trap. No worse than a trap. He had walked into a demonstration. Humanity wanted the Council to see exactly what they were capable of. I am Catharn, Thraknor said. We do not surrender. All ships prepare to engage. Target the human command ship. Fire at will. The Council fleet opened fire. 10,000 ships unleashing everything they had. Energy weapons, missiles, kinetic projectiles. Enough firepower to destroy a solar system. The human ships did not even try to dodge. Their shields simply absorbed the attacks. Every single shot, the energy dissipated harmlessly against barriers that should not be able to exist. Then the humans returned fire. But they did not target the ships. They targeted the weapons. With surgical precision, human weapons disabled every gun, every missile launcher, every weapon system on every Council ship. In less than 5 minutes, the entire Council fleet was disarmed. 10,000 warships rendered completely harmless without destroying a single one. Impossible, Thraknor whispered. Shield systems next, Okonkwo said. Her face was still on the screen watching. Strip their shields. Leave them defenseless. The human ships fired again, this time targeting the shield generators. One by one, every Council ship lost its defensive capabilities. They were now floating helplessly in space, unable to fight, unable to defend, completely at humanity's mercy. And humanity had not destroyed a single ship, not one. Every Council vessel was intact. Every crew member was alive. The humans had defeated the largest fleet in galactic history without killing anyone. You had your chance, Okonkwo said. Now you will listen. All Council ships are now under human control. Your ships will be held in detention until the Council agrees to our terms. We will take care of your crews. We will feed them, house them, treat them well. But they will remain our prisoners until this situation is resolved. What terms? Thraknor asked. He felt numb. His entire fleet, his entire career, his people's pride, all of it gone in less than an hour. The same terms Ambassador Chen tried to negotiate for 30 years. Fair trade practices, equal representation in the Council, protection for developing species, criminal trials for those who profited from exploitation, and most importantly, respect. True respect, not the fake politeness you gave us while stealing our resources. Okonkwo stood up. Behind her, Thraknor could see the command center. Humans working at their stations, calm, professional, not celebrating their victory, just doing their jobs. I am sending a ship to the Council homeworld, Okonkwo said. The UNSS Remembrance. It is one of our older dreadnoughts, but it will serve the purpose. It will deliver our terms to Director Vothrall personally. The Council has 1 week to agree to all our demands. If they refuse, the Remembrance will demonstrate what humanity can do when we stop holding back. You would destroy the Council homeworld? Thraknor asked, horrified. No, Okonkwo said. We are not monsters, General. We will not kill civilians. We will not commit genocide. We will not become what you feared we might be. But we will show the Council our full capabilities. We will show them weapons they cannot imagine. We will show them what we could do if we wanted to. And then we will give them another chance to accept our terms. She paused. But I truly hope it does not come to that. We do not want war, General. We never did. We wanted peace. We wanted fairness. We wanted to be treated as equals. All we are doing now is proving that we deserve it. The transmission ended. Thraknor sat in his command chair, surrounded by his disabled fleet, and understood that he had been defeated without humanity even trying. This was not their full strength. This was just a demonstration, a warning, a preview of what they could do if pushed further. What would happen if humanity actually tried to destroy them? The UNSS Remembrance appeared in orbit above the Council homeworld exactly as promised. It was alone, one ship, but it was 3 times the size of any Council dreadnought. It held position directly over the Council chambers and broadcasted its message. Director Vothrall watched from his office as the message played. It was Ambassador Chen, the same woman who had walked out of the Council chambers 1 year ago. Director Vothrall, she said, we gave you peace and you gave us exploitation. We offered diplomacy and you gave us mockery. We withdrew to give you time to change and you chose war. Now you face the consequences. The image changed. It showed the captured Council fleet. 10,000 ships, all disabled, all floating helplessly under human control. This is what happened when you attacked us.